What if the opportunity you lost was actually protecting you? What if the relationship that ended, the job you didn't get, or the door that suddenly closed wasn't a punishment from God, but a rescue? Today, we're going to uncover a powerful truth that could completely change how you see disappointment forever. Stay with me, because what God protects you from is often greater than what He gives you. One of the hardest experiences in life is watching a door close that you desperately wanted to walk through. You prayed about it. You believed for it. You planned around it. You expected it. Then suddenly it was gone. The opportunity disappeared. The relationship ended. The dream fell apart. And you're left asking, God, why? If you've ever asked that question, you're not alone. But today, I want to show you something powerful from God's Word. Sometimes God's greatest protection comes through closed doors. What feels like rejection may actually be divine protection. What feels like disappointment may actually be God's mercy. Let's explore why. Section 1. God sees the whole picture. One reason we struggle with closed doors is because we only see the present. God sees everything. He sees tomorrow. He sees next year. He sees every consequence attached to every decision. You see an opportunity. God sees the outcome. You see potential success. God sees hidden danger. You see what you want. God sees what you need. This is why trusting God requires faith, because often His decisions are based on information we simply don't possess. Section 2. The pain of closed doors. Let's be honest. Closed doors hurt, especially when you've invested your hopes and prayers into something. Disappointment is real. Heartbreak is real. Confusion is real. Even faithful believers struggle with these emotions. But experiencing pain doesn't mean God has abandoned you. In fact, many times God is working most powerfully when we understand Him the least. The challenge is learning to trust Him during the confusion. Section 3. Joseph's closed doors. Think about Joseph. He had dreams from God, yet his journey seemed filled with closed doors. He was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, wrongfully imprisoned, forgotten by people he helped. From Joseph's perspective, everything seemed to be going wrong. But years later, he realized God was using every setback to position him for a greater purpose. The pit was a closed door. The prison was a closed door. Yet those closed doors ultimately led him to the palace. What looked like rejection became preparation. Section 4. God protects you from people. Sometimes God closes doors because of people. Not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay. Not every relationship is healthy. Not every friendship is beneficial. Not every partnership aligns with God's purpose. Sometimes we become attached to people God is trying to remove. And when He closes the door, we feel hurt. But later, we discover He was protecting us from unnecessary pain. God sees hearts that we cannot see, and His protection often comes before our understanding. Section 5. God protects you from bad timing. Sometimes the opportunity itself isn't wrong. The timing is wrong. A blessing received too early can become a burden. A responsibility received before you're ready can become overwhelming. A promotion without preparation can create pressure instead of joy. God understands timing better than anyone. When He closes a door temporarily, it may be because He's preparing you for the moment when you can handle what you're asking for. Section 6. What closed doors reveal. Closed doors often reveal where we've placed our trust. Do we trust God only when He gives us what we want? Or do we trust Him even when He says no? Faith becomes strongest when circumstances don't make sense. Anyone can trust God when doors are opening, but trusting Him when doors are closing, that's where spiritual maturity grows. If this message is encouraging you, take a moment to like this video. In the comments, write, God's protection is greater than my understanding. Your comment may encourage someone who is struggling with a closed door right now. And if you're new here, subscribe for more faith-building messages every week. Now let's continue. Section 7. Closed doors create new direction. One reason God closes doors is because He wants to redirect us. We often become focused on a single path, but God sees multiple possibilities. When one door closes, He may be guiding us towards something better, something healthier, something more aligned with our calling, something beyond what we could have imagined. The closed door is not the end. It's often a turning point. Section 8. Learning to trust without answers. One of the greatest acts of faith is trusting God without receiving immediate explanations. Sometimes you'll never know why a particular door closed, at least not right away. And that's okay. Faith isn't built on explanations. Faith is built on trust. Trusting God's character even when you don't understand His choices. Trusting His wisdom even when your plans fall apart. Trusting His goodness even during disappointment. Section 9. God's no can be His mercy. Many people thank God for answered prayers. But someday you may thank Him for unanswered prayers too. You may thank Him for relationships that didn't happen, jobs that didn't work out, opportunities that disappeared, doors that remained closed. Because with time comes perspective, and perspective often reveals God's protection. What felt painful in one season becomes understandable in another. Section 10. Your next door is coming. If God has closed a door in your life recently, don't lose hope. Closed doors are not proof that God is finished. They're often proof that God is guiding. God never removes something without purpose. He never closes a door without knowing what's ahead. Your current disappointment is not your final destination. God is still working. God is still leading. God is still preparing a way. Friend, if you're struggling with a closed door today, remember this. God sees what you cannot see. He knows what you do not know. He understands what you cannot understand. And because He loves you, He sometimes says no. Not to hurt you, but to protect you. One day, you may look back and realize that the door you cried over was the very door God saved you from. Trust Him, even when the answer is no, even when the door closes, even when the path changes, because God's protection is always motivated by His love, and His plans for you remain good.